Good morning and welcome. It is 7:30. It is the 13th day of December 2021. It is 48 degrees and cloudy with a storm warning here in California. And of course, we need to take a moment to send our thanks to all the first responders and care workers and emergency workers, and all our prayers to everybody who's been affected by the multiple ecological disasters that are affecting our country. Remember, kids, climate change is a lie. No, it's not. This is definitely climate change. It's snowing. It's blizzarding in Hawaii. Yeah, climate change. Okay, so enough with that. It's Monday, which means it's time to take a look at the tabletop role-playing game news of the week, or at least the beginning of the week. I'm sure we're going to have more. Right now, not a lot, other than the stories we already know. But then it is the end of the year, so I don't really expect too many major announcements, changes, weirdness that we haven't already heard about. Of course, our number one stories is the whole TSR Wizards of the Coast lawsuit, which as of the other day, yesterday, was dropped after being for only 48 hours. We have now heard that the individuals responsible for the weird TSR 3.5, apparently I have to refer to it as TSR 3.5, and Wizards of the Coast, because the TSR 3.5 people are want to refile the case in another state that might be more willing to bend towards their size. Now, warning, even though currently the lawsuit is inactive and we do not know when or if it may become inactive again, the Indiegogo is still accepting funds. And if you remember from our previous discussions regarding Indiegogo, any money you give to this project will not be returned to you no matter what happens. So even though they stop the lawsuit for now, you don't get that money back. If you're still giving them money and they decide we're never going to do the lawsuit again, you don't get the money back. The OGGM Adventures is recommending that you do not give these people money for this lawsuit, but that's up to you. It just reads right now as a scam. Maybe once they rewrite the lawsuit, it might be worth supporting, but again, I don't think so, because everybody who I've spoken to with even a limited knowledge of legal actions and copyright laws say that TSR 3.5 does not have any chance of accomplishing what they're setting out to accomplish. But it's news. The other big news involving Wizards of the Coast was, of course, that Strixhaven came out, and after hiring a cultural sensitivity consultant and paying the outrageous service fee for the cultural sensitivity consultant, they forgot to put the cultural sensitivity consultant's name in the book. So the book went out, that individual's name, not in the book. They have to reprint the book with the individual's name in it, which means, I guess, you have to buy it all over again. How sensitive of you, Wizards of the Coast, that you forgot to acknowledge the existence of your cultural sensitivity consultant. Of course, sarcasm. How can you be culturally sensitive about Strixhaven unless, of course, you actually are from Strixhaven? So unless this individual is an owlkin wizard who lives on the demi-plane of Strixhaven, you really can't be culturally sensitive about what's going on in Strixhaven, because you have no basis of, no basis. You're not from Strixhaven, so how can you say whether something offends Strixhaven inhabitants or not? That's just me being silly, though. Yeah. And if you want to look it up, you can check online how you, too, could get a cultural sensitivity certificate and how much cultural sensitivity consultants get paid. And it's a lot. In other gaming news that we haven't really talked about before, that it doesn't revolve Wizards of the Coast or Strixhaven or the TSR lawsuit. If you're interested in knowing what's going on with the Dungeons & Dragons game that made it to the cover of Sports Illustrated, yes, D&D is on the cover of Sports Illustrated. It's a story about the group of individuals who are on the Cleveland Browns football team, including Myles Garrett, fullback Johnny Staton, guard Wyatt Teller, tackle Kendall Lamar, that's a name I recognize, and some friends. But of course, this whole story affects how these guys do, play D&D and, the evolution of fantasy football. And is fantasy football just D&D for sports nerds? And of course, what happened when individuals were traded? How did trading Lamar to a different team affect the D&D game? Also in tabletop role-playing game news, but not really, Harry Cavill, the Man of Steel and The Witcher, was on the Graham Norton show talking about his love for Warhammer. Apparently, Harry Cavill is a huge Warhammer fan. Indeed, I don't know if he's a D&D fan, but he's definitely a Warhammer and a Warhammer 40k fan. And he was on with Tom Holland of Spider-Man fame, and Harry was defending his love of the war game and talking about Warhammer. And then Tom Holland asked if he could come play. Also, Shayna Baszler of WWE is also a Warhammer fan and wants to play Warhammer with Harry Cavill. So yeah, look, Warhammer, way to go. Nominations are up for the most anticipated RPG of 2022 and the best tabletop role-playing game podcast for 2022. We already talked about this. Most of the nominees seem to be for the same 3 games, but then, of course, we don't have a full list of what's coming out in 2022. So it's hard to say what might be anticipated. Just because, a dozen games has been announced, there might be a game that's going to be announced in April that everybody oh my God. That's so exciting. I want to play that game as soon as it comes out. So, yeah, it's hard to really say that. Strangely enough, not a single nomination for any Wizards of the Coast products that are coming out in 2022. Of course, as of this date, we only know of 1.5 products that are coming out in 2022 from Wizards of the Coast. So, again, if you're a WOTC D&D 5 fan, you might just be waiting to see what they announce for the rest of the year. Magpie Games announced that the fulfillment of the Avatar: The Last Airbender Kickstarter has been delayed. They still will get it out, they promise. But it's been delayed because of the cardboard and paper shortage. And, of course, the shipping shortage and the shipping issues. They cannot support the print run of over 200,000 books. So we can expect the first initial scheduling was February, but now it looks like it's being pushed back to summer of 2022. Magpie Games, of course, apologizes to anybody who kickstarted the game. I don't know if they're going to do something to make up for the fact that it's been delayed, but as soon as the cardboard paper shortage and all the other shipping issues are resolved, they will get the Avatar game and the Kickstarter fulfillment to you as soon as possible. Congratulations again to Avatar Legends for making $9.5 million in Kickstarter. And speaking of Kickstarter announced that they are creating a yet unnamed spin-off company to develop blockchain crowdfunding technology with the anticipation of moving Kickstarter to this platform sometime in 2022 or 2023. Blockchain crowdfunding technology. That's a wonderfully made-up word. But if you're wondering what blockchain technology is, it is a distribution ledger system similar to a spreadsheet or database that is shared through peer-to-peer technology rather than centrally hosted. So rather than being controlled by a single individual company or government agency, the blockchains can be hosted by anyone and updated by anyone with those changes, kind of like Wikipedia. And those changes will be shared among all the computers hosting the blockchain. The point of controversy is that the peer-to-peer nature of the blockchain means that it uses a large amount of powers, and of course it allows anybody on the chain access to your computer if it's on the chain. And then of course there's all the other thing that affects, cryptocurrency and crypto spreading and all these other things like, non-fungible tokens and Ethereum blockchains and carbon megatons and all sorts of words that are made up but now mean things in the new world of the digital frontier. Looks like William Gibson was kind of right after all in regards to Cyberpunk, just maybe not in the way he thought it was going to. But yeah, so I'm going to try and translate that technologically gobbledygook into words I think we can all understand. It's basically a communication system where several computers are linked to a cloud web, and they're all sharing the information. So it's no one single individual company or whatever is controlling the information. It's just kind of out there traveling from computer to computer, which means, good. Anybody can contribute to it because it's open source, kind of like Wikipedia, but hopefully, more accurate. But bad because that means anybody on the chain can affect the chain, change the tokens, or introduce a virus or a worm to the chain. So, yeah. Cyberpunk. Skynet. I, for one, bow towards our future Roomba leaders and look forward to a world led by Roombas. Or yogurt. Yogurt, yeah. Or maybe bees. And speaking of the letter B, we have Humble Bumble's end of the year surprise. We thought Humble Bumble was done for the year pretty much, but Humble Bumble, yes, I still call it Humble Bumble, even if that isn't the right name, because it just sounds cuter. We have a whole bunch of Pathfinder first and second edition stuff available on Humble Bundle. Thank you, Humble Bumble, for doing all this. All these go to support various charities. The Pathfinder charities go to support Extra Life. And we have two. We have a Pathfinder 2nd Edition Beginner's Bundle featuring a total of 32 items, including all the digital copies of the Pathfinder 2nd Edition Core Rulebook, Pathfinder 2nd Edition Beastery, the Starfinder Core Rulebook, and a large collection of source books, setting books, maps, adventures, and more. Plus, if you pay the full $50, you get a physical copy of the Pathfinder 2nd Edition Beginner Box mailed to you. And that is supporting, again, the Trevor Project and Extra Life. There's also an Ultimate GM kit for Pathfinder featuring 29 items for Fantasy Grounds Unity and a 3-month subscription to Fantasy Grounds Unity and an unlimited selection of Pathfinder 1st Edition rule books, adventures, map packs, source books, and everything else. And again, this goes to support the Trevor Project and Extra Life. These bundles are available through January 1st. If your tastes spin more towards the near future, there is a Cyberpunk Bundle featuring 30 items, including library books of Cyberpunk 2020, Listen Up, You Primitive Screwheads, all 4 Chromebooks, I'm wondering if that includes the one I worked on, Solo of Fortune, Night City, and the Cyberpunk Red Jumpstart Kit. This bundle runs through December 27th. There's also a limited but does not seem to support any charity. Shame on you for not supporting a charity, Artisolian. Humble has also brought back a bundle for limited time, the third-party 5e Black Friday RPG Bonanza featuring 40 products for 5e, and the STL 3D printed miniature bundles are also back, but only till the end of the month. None of those seem to be going to support a charity, though. Interesting. All right, so that seems to be it for the news. Of course, again, we have the TSR 3.5 voluntary dismissing the lawsuit only because they want to go to a different state and file it there, hoping that the legal individual powers there will be more willing to favor in their side. We have the missing cultural consultant credit in Strixhaven, and the Avatar Kickstarter fulfillment delayed. That seems to be the major news. Moving on to gifts. Here are some dice ideas for every class and individual in your life if you're looking for some stocking stuffers. We've got steampunk metal dice running for $22. Yeah, because metal dice, sharp, pointy metal things, are always a blessing to any tabletop role-playing game. And, of course, the glass table, yeah. We have LED Dnd Dice Sets. These apparently, I don't know, are these battery-powered? They've got to be battery-powered. Or LEDs. They flash when you roll them. That's pretty weird. We have bloodstained metal dice available for $23. We have blue and silver metal dice for $21. We have the dice with flowers inside them. So these are acrylic dice that have been pressed with a small flower or flower petal inside them for $14. We have the Dark Scion Gold Sharp Edge Dice for $26. It's deadly. It even says it's deadly to your table as fighters are to your monsters. So if you ever wondered why there are dice trays, sharp edge dice are the reasons. So yes, these dice are notorious for having very sharp edges, and of course damaging tables because you're rolling these very sharp, heavy edge products over your table. Yeah, those are $26. Red and gold metal dice for $18 if you want to evoke that Asian theme. Of course, we can't do that because that's cultural appropriation, and red and gold metal dice might insult somebody from Asia. Yeah, way to go, guys. We have those cost, by the way, $18. We have silver and gold metal dice. If you for the dragon in your life. These are not actually made from real silver and gold. They're just made to look like silver and gold with gold lettering and silver bodies. If they were really silver and gold, they'd be worth way more than the $18. We have the color-changing mood dice. These things count kind of cool. Color-changing mood dice are $18, and they change color depending upon the temperature swings. So from 33 Celsius and above, they change from black to red, or 32 Celsius and below, they change from red to black. So you either have to be in an environment where you can change the temperature or live someplace where the temperature ranges from 93 degrees to 79 degrees during your D&D game, so you can see them color change. Still kind of cool. We have glow-in-the-dark dice for $10. They are sunlight-powered glow-in-the-dark dice. Glow-in-the-dark dice are kind of cool, but sort of a disappointment because the only way you really can enjoy them is if you're playing in a pitch-black room after putting the dice exposed to light for 24 hours so that they glow. But then if you're playing in a pitch-black room, the only thing you see is the glowing dice. But they're only $10, so. For $21, we have Red Dragon Scale Dice. These are red and silver edge dice that look like scales. I do not believe actual real red dragon dice are available, made from red dragon scales, because I don't know where they would have found a red dragon. Maybe a red lizard, but I don't know. Yeah, $21 for those. We have the Hollow Skull Metal Dice. They have bat wing skulls on each face. They are hollow and made out of brass, it looks like. Yeah. And those are $46. And we have the purple gold metal dice available for $20. So any of these sound like something that the tabletop role player game in your life would want. These are all available at your friendly local game store. That's Cess Games and Anime here in Ventura. And you can pick up them as the stocking stuffers. The flashy dice, the glow-in-the-dark sounds, but the flashy ones sound like fun. I am not a fan of metal dice. The flower dice could be cool. The sharp edge dice, any dice where you risk cutting yourself or destroying a table, again, not a fan. The mood dice, well, it's a clever idea, but you'd have to be someplace where it switches from 93 degrees to 79 degrees on a regular basis to really take effect of the fact that they color change. Glow-in-the-dark dice are fun and cheap, but again, the only way to enjoy them is if you're playing in a perfectly black room. And then the creepy hollow skull metal dice for $46. Again, all these are available at your friendly local game store. That's Cess Games and Anime here in Ventura. So for the tabletop role-playing gamer in your life, if any of those sound interesting, check them out. But make sure it's okay with your mom that you roll the metal dice on her table before you roll them on her table. That's it for the tabletop role-playing game news and stocking stuffer list of the day. If this content interests you, let me know. If you never want to hear me talk about stuff like this ever again, let me know. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please subscribe to the vlog. Help me reach 1,000 subs by the end of the year, and we'll do something crazy. Stay safe in all this wacky weather, and happy holidays. I will talk to you later. And remember, it is the holidays, so if you're feeling generous, considering supporting my charity of choice, Team Primetime, here in California. See ya!